While I celebrate the diversity within Latin cuisine, I also celebrate that which ties us together, that lineage that runs through every country, every pueblo, every barrio, DNA. Today, I want to talk about the DNA of Latin cuisine.
Todo queda sabroso.
For me, the DNA of Latin cuisine is the fusion of roots, influence, and heritage. These are the essential building blocks that define Latin cuisine's identity, core ingredients, techniques, history, and the cultural influences that shape how the food is made. Begin with the indigenous roots, talking about empires like the Aztec, Mayans, Incas, to the many tribes like Taino, Arawak, Guarani, and Quechua, just to name a few. And of course, we have to talk about the staple foods of the indigenous people. Foods like maize, beans, squash, chilies, and cassava. And these ingredients existed long before colonization and still define many dishes today. So when you're talking about the DNA of Latin cuisine, you have to start with the indigenous roots. The second major foundation of Latin cuisine is colonial influence. Spanish and Portuguese colonization has left a black mark in Latin American and Caribbean history. However, we cannot deny the colonial influences that are a part of the fabric today. And although there were other European influences, it was the Spanish and Portuguese colonization that introduced ingredients like rice, pork, beef, garlic, onion, and citrus, blending with indigenous foods to create new culinary traditions. Imagine sofrito without garlic and onions. If we didn't have pork and sour orange, we wouldn't have lechon. So colonization plays a major part in the DNA of Latin cuisine. We'll save the negative aspects of that era for a later time. And the third major foundation of Latin cuisine, one that I hold near and dear to my heart, is African heritage. It was through the transatlantic slave trade that African cooking techniques and ingredients, like frying methods and starchy foods, became deeply embedded in Latin cuisine, especially in the Caribbean. I, for one, take pride in my Afro-Latino heritage. My mom is from a city in Peru called Chincha, and it is rooted in Afro-Latino culture because when the slave ships came to Peru, they settled in that Chincha Ica region, and to this day you can see that heritage in foods like anticuchos. There are also other aspects of Latin cuisine that make it distinguishable. I'm talking about sazon. Say it with your chest. Sazon. Sazon is what defines Latin food, that flavor, a signature balance of bold seasonings, chile, cumin, achiote, adobo, sazon, fresh herbs like cilantro, culantro, espazote, hierba buena, and hoja santa, and of course, citrus for that acidity, giving ceviche that bright flavor. And I mean, come on, everything tastes better with a squeeze of lime. This is what gives Latin food its unmistakable richness and vibrancy. But in the same breath, we have to talk about the cooking techniques that makes up that DNA. Stewing, from asopaos to sancochos to guisos, to grilling like asadas or barbacoa, which is the Taino word for barbecue. Cooking over an open flame or on la plancha. The technique of mashing, like for mofongo, which points back to that African heritage and how they make fufu, as well as the technique of cooking food in the earth. You can see this in the iconic dish cochinita pibil or panchamanca, the Peruvian dish where you take potatoes and meats and you put them in the ground and you place hot stones on top and bury it. And these techniques are as important as the ingredients themselves. And finally, the DNA of Latin cuisine definitely includes culture and storytelling. You see, Latin cuisine is not just about food, but it's about family, tradition. It's about migration and identity. Recipes are often passed down orally, carrying stories with them. It's even represented in music and dance. A comer pastel, a comer lechon, arroz con anduli, a beber ron, que venga morcilla, que venga de todo. Oh yeah, and make it sabroso.
Todo queda sabroso.